Hello and welcome to the new video of Kingdoms Forlorn called My First Dungeon. So in today's video we are going to be covering our first dungeon ever. So I hope we can do it easily, since it can be tricky. First of all, our game is completely randomly generated when it comes to dungeons. So I have no idea what I'm getting into right now. We have entered the Tomb of Vala. Let's check out our quests. So this is our quest, and we are going to do this one. Investigate Cult of Barn. Search the Tomb of Vala, located around Southport. Find the clues about the cult activities and bring them to Misa, the elementalist in Southport. Seems easy enough. So let's begin. First of all, I've just dinged. We are now level 3, our entire party, and we have some skill points to distribute. So since our warrior is going to be very handy, we are going to add more skill points to the dagger skill. As you can see, we have six skill points left. And when we add one more, we are going to use 5 of them to reach level 5. And that's the general rule. You need the number of skill points you need to advance is the number of the level you want to upgrade to. So for example, here I want bow. If I want to upgrade bow, I will need 4 for the next level, which will leave me 6 after this one. I'm going to keep a couple of them just in case I need some utility skills like traps or disarms. I don't know what I'm gonna find, as I said. So these utility heavy classes like archer and sorceress are, it's a pretty good idea to keep as many points as you can, in reserve in case you need them. We are going to upgrade one more fire, so we're gonna bring fire to level 4, and here we have for our cleric we can go both ways. We can use some more in body magic or use some more in mace basic skill. I'm going to put him in mace, since I was lucky enough actually to find a very rare, actually a legendary drop, Chronalia the Vanguard. As you can see, it's a very powerful mace. The only problem is its attack rating is pretty low, and I will need more attack rating to mitigate this. So let's see. This is our map, as you can see, and this is the world map. We are around Southport. Currently the game has 4 territories: territory of Southport, Riverstride, High Hill, and Westgard. You start off in Southport, and this is our first dungeon, so let's delve into it. Okay, so as you can see, the first thing we encountered are golden doors. Golden doors require golden key, and golden key is found in the silver room. So some dungeons will have these mechanics.
Let's do this.
They will have 3 keys: bronze, silver, and gold. Bronze unlocks bronze doors. You will find a silver key in there. Silver key will unlock silver doors, and so forth and so on. Here we have encountered our first pack of enemies, and this is a great example to show how combat actually works. So our fastest champion, who is our Serena, the sorceress, since her speed is above all other speeds, it's 39. She's going to be playing first, and we will probably use a fireball on her. We have the firebolt will deal 24 to 33 damage to this mob, or 24 to 33 damage to this one. You can tap on their health bar to see their stats, how much damage, what attack rating they have. So they have like a 45% chance to hit on average, and they have a 3% one armor, which is like 3% of damage mitigation. So since their fire resistance is pretty weak, we can use fire spells against them. You will also encounter other enemies that deal significantly more damage and that have significantly higher resistances of a certain elemental schools, up to 100 even. So, which means they will be immune to certain spells. So, advice is don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you encounter a fire-resistant enemies, that might be a problem. Your sorceress, if you focus only fire, will be useless against them. So let's blast this guy. So he has 24 damage. That's pretty straightforward. Here we have another mechanic. So we have the damage we are going to do, and we have chance to hit. This cannot go over 95 when you are hit capped. The more hit rating you have, the better your chances are. The things that increase your hit rating are accuracy and here attack on your weapon. The problem is that some weapons, for example maces, they have a pretty low attack rating. As you've seen before, I think it has like 6 or 8, I'm not sure. So wearing it will significantly hinder your hit rating. And also armor. The heavier your armor is, the lower your hit rating is going to be. So you will have to find some things to mitigate that. Here we have a buff. As you can see, it says Alexis is afflicted by Bless, and she has increased attack rating. So all our weapon-based characters have this, and it is a buff cast by our cleric Zoltan in his spirit magic. So the more I buff, the more I level up my spirit magic, the stronger my buff is going to be. So I'm going to just deal with this one. As you can see, I can attack either one of these. So for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to attack this one, and you see he lost 14 of his damage. But here, as you can see, I cannot attack. I cannot use my attacks to attack the range creep because I'm currently using my melee character. So as long as there is a melee character in front of our party directly, we cannot attack ranged characters behind them. So right now I'm going to just swing. 14 to 20 is going to be more than enough. I have 80% chances to hit, so I'm pretty well. There you go. 20% seems a lot in this case. And 10 to 16. Okay, I feel like gambling. I'm going to. I was lucky to get him that time, and I can attack one more time since the turns go in reverse. I can loot them. And I got the shield, which is unidentifiable at the moment. It has some magic properties, but since my lore skill is not high enough, I cannot identify it yet. Same goes for this bow. So for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to level up my lore for 2 levels and see if I can identify any of these items. Seems I cannot. Seems I got lucky and I got okay, high level items. But see, I got this one. So this is Buckler of Titans. As you can see, it gives me armor, block rating, and all stats +1. So compared to my this one, Bear and Unenchanted, it's much better. So I can just replace them, and there you go. Now I have +1 to all stats, which is, you know, not ideal, but much better than it's supposed to be. We can continue on through our dungeon. We find this guy. You know, once you get the hang of it, you are going to have an easy time dealing, with enemies, and most of your fights are going to be simple rotations, especially if the enemies are weaker. We have also found a potion here. Potions can be, we can drink potions to increase, in this case, +5 to all our stats. Duration is 50 turns, plus 10 times our alchemy skill. Since we don't have alchemy skill at the moment, it's just going to be 50 turns. The turn is, actually the amount of time that passes with all our, with each of our, how can I put it? Each of the actions that we do. So, for instance, I have 498 turns on the bless buff, and if I go forward, it will drop down by 2. So it means like each movement in forward, backward, and left, just forward, backward. But since turning, as you can see, does not influence the passage of time. Let's see. Let's move on forward. We will just go down this hole. Keep an eye on the map. It's going to be very, very useful for you. Okay, so when you encounter enemies with this aura effect beneath them, it means you've encountered elites. Elites usually have one leader, and he might be alone, or he might have 1 or 2 of his henchmen. They're physically stronger, and they usually have a certain mechanic to them. I do not yet know what it is, but just to be on the safe side, I'm going to cast inner fire spells on the rest of my party. These spells will imbue our melee and range weapons with the elemental power of fire. So, and they will add 5 or 6 damage to each of our attacks, which is, terrific. There we go. It's in my quick cast bar, so I should have no trouble buffing them. The downside of this is that we will have our mana pool significantly depleted by this. And when your mana runs out, especially if you're a sorceress, the only course of action is probably rest. So we'll see if we're gonna rest after this one. We are going to use this potion, get 20 more mana. That's 4 firebolts. That's pretty good in my opinion. And we can engage this pack. So as you can see, this is the boss. I guess we got pretty lucky with this. These ones, this is the mana burn 1. It doesn't deal any extra damage, but it will probably, their hits will burn most of our mana, so that mana potion was probably a good idea. Okay, so let's deal with this guy first, since he is in the front line, so I can dish all my damage toward him. This ability is stun. Unfortunately, it does more damage than my normal attack, but it will not stun the enemy because they're undead. So, anything without technically a brain cannot be stunned. Stun is there we go. See, additionally, bleed can, stab also does bleed damage. It will not do it, as you can see, since, obviously, undead are immune to these kinds of effects, and they're, the only types of enemies that are immune to stuns and bleeds. They can be frozen, though, although we do not have that, that elemental spell yet. We would have to become an experts in water magic to do that. So, you know, we got him down, and it's all pretty straightforward from here. Yeah, undead usually have, you know, are immune to certain effects. On the other hand, they are much physically weaker. They usually have lower resistances than other mobs their level, and they also have lower hit points. Elites always drop items. They always drop 2 items, and the higher our luck statistic is, the more chance there is we are gonna get you know, a pretty decent item. Okay, there it is. Okay, we're gonna continue on. I'm gonna use that helm, since that helm is, you know, it's a pretty decent helm. It will give some sort of protection to my guy. Okay, here we have encountered a trap thanks to our perception. You know, the higher our perception is, the more likely is we are going to spot a trap before we step on it and trigger it. So, you know, for the sake of demonstration, you know, let's say I haven't seen this trap and I walk right into it. If I step on it, you see I will take 14 damage, which is not much, but, you know, sometimes because of, you know, sheer, you know, backtracking, we are going to have, you know, a lot of HP lost. So in this case, it is very useful to have a disarm trap on your in your party. As you can see, our, you know, archer has disarm trap. It's level 1. So let's see if we can disarm this one. Okay, this was a level 1 trap, so, you know, level 1 skill disarms level 1 trap, pretty straightforward. Let's see this one. There's another one. Okay, this one was also low level, since we are, you know, as you can guess, in a low level dungeon, and we have found our bronze doors. We cannot yet enter these doors since we don't have a key, and this is where our dungeon crawling, or should I say dungeon wandering, begins. Okay, let's see this one. We found a silver door as well, so yeah. Okay, you will have to consult your map, you know, very frequently. I believe this dungeon has 2 levels. We are going to find one part of the side quest on this level, and we are also going to find our main objective on the 2nd level. You know, since this is the Tomb of Vala, you can imagine that we will find Vala. Vala was a princess who was buried here, and there we go. Okay, so you might have heard the sound that one of our characters said. Yeah, so whenever you are near trigger, switch, lever, secret, or a puzzle, you will encounter these types of sounds. So as you can imagine, once I pull this lever, it will open the door. Be careful when you enter these doors. You do not know what can be on the other side. You know, we haven't found anything here except a couple of chests, so there were no enemies, lucky for us. And here we have encountered our first locked chest, and you know, our ranger Alexis, since she's so useful, she will unlock it for us. This is a simple mini game. You just have to tap at the right moment. The higher skill you have in lockpicking, the wider the area will be, while on the other hand, the you know, the higher the level of the trap is, sorry, of the lock is, the narrower will it become. So, you know, you can technically you can you know, open each and every chest in the game with level 1 lockpicking. You just have to be, you know, very accurate and, you know, very good at it. Okay, so more traps. As you can see, you know, all this unlocking and disarming, it also grants you experience. So, you know, it's a very useful skill to have just for that reason. This type of doors, you will see, you know, if you cannot find the switch, you know, you can just click on it and sometimes it will open. You know, this door will not. So let's go somewhere else and find a switch. So the thing is that switch can be anywhere. It is usually in the vicinity, but since the dungeon generates randomly, we don't really know where it's gonna be. This one is a more discreet one. If you can see right next to our door, we have a switch that actually looks like a piece of the wall. So when I press it, it will open the door. I can see one enemy is there, but I do not know if we will have any enemies on the right. So the thing that could have happened here is that we could have had one enemy here, and we could have had 3, 2 or 1 enemies here. So those encounters can be very tricky, especially if you encounter elites. So, you know, my advice, you know, be careful. You know, I'm kind of a risk taker, so don't be like me. Yep. So as you can see, you know, the mana of our sorceress is, you know, slowly depleting. So it might be a good idea to rest pretty soon, which I will do, you know, which I will probably do after this room. As soon as we rest, we will, you know, most of our buffs are going to expire, so we will have to reapply them. Let's see how that works. So you see here we have a date. We can rest for 8 hours, wait for 1 hour, or wait until dawn. Whenever we rest, it will consume our resources, it will consume time, and it will consume 2 of our food. So let's rest for 8 hours. So as you can see, we now have 8 food. We still have some of those buffs that we applied before that fight with that elite pack, but you know, our sorceress, she lost her fire buff, so let's reapply it. And we can also use our cleric to reapply the bless buff. It's also in his quick bar, so at the moment it will grant us 15% attack rating. You can check it here. So this is attack melee and attack range rating. It depends, you know, the difference in number is actually the difference between her weapons. You see, dagger has 11, bow has 10. So this, as you can see, this and other multipliers, since she is she has bow basic, so base attack per level 1, so she has +4 base attack rating. And damage, so you know, it kind of makes sense in that way. Let's see, we will move forward. We encounter another pack of enemies. I forgot to buff my ranger, but no matter, these guys shouldn't be a problem. You know, I could use my turn here to buff her, but you know, it would be just probably a waste of damage. So now she is buffed, and let's move on. Okay, here we have another door. Yeah, these types of doors, you know, can be opened by just by clicking on them.
Let's do this.
Okay, and here, as you can see, we have 2 skeletons, and our map suggests that if we move forward or right, we will encounter another group of skeletons. Let's see what they are. Okay, so it's you know, a ranged skeleton. You know, we'll deal with it first, and then we'll just focus on this one. Okay, hopefully this room will contain the bronze key. Yes. Okay, so now we have the bronze key, And okay, we have a mace which we cannot identify yet. So let's proceed. We are going to proceed to the bronze room, which is, you know, we are here. It's here. There's going to be a lot of backtracking and circling, but I guess that's random generation for you. Okay, so yeah, this is the gold door. We're gonna open it later as soon as we clear the bronze room and the silver room. We're gonna get the key to the bronze one, the golden one, pardon. Okay, let's see what else we have here. And okay, here we are. So we're gonna open it. Okay, and as you can see, yeah, we're gonna encounter one, you know, lone skeleton. And this is the entrance to the second level of the tomb, where the dungeon boss awaits. The thing is that you know, most of these fights are easy, but the hard part is beating all the enemies in, you know, a set amount of time. So, you know, in order we had 10 food, so that's 5 rests, and we need to use all those resources, you know, all that food to, you know, to go through this dungeon. Okay, I got Politic Roads there. Yeah. This is also one added benefit, you know, if the bar is very wide, you can just tap on it. You don't have to wait for you know, for the slider to make an entire rotation and come back, you know, in order to tap again. So once again, if you are quick, you can do great things here. Okay, let's move on. Here we are going to open the silver door, since we have found the silver key. Before I go in and open, I'm just gonna heal my warrior, since he's a bit wounded and I don't know what I'm gonna find here. It's an empty room, which is good. We're just gonna find the okay, we found the gold ring. Okay, she cannot carry, her inventory is full. And we found this other chest, which is locked. I'm gonna just unlock it real quickly. And when I entered the room, you saw some well, I suppose they're griffins, and they have you know, gemmed eyes. So let's see what they do. Okay, so I cannot carry this yet, since I don't have the chain skill, and this is pretty much you know, the loot I'm gonna use to, you know, for selling and acquiring more gold, since we are in dire need of it. As you can see, we found runes, and this is where our lore master comes into play. So notice that if I click on this with any other character, it will, you know, just display gibberish, the same gibberish which is on the wall. But if I press it, you know, if I tap it with Serena, it will give me the solution to the puzzle. So we have north red, pardon, south blue, west green, east blue. So north red, I am now facing north. We have these ones, so I will just tap on the eyes of these griffins and I will change it into red. South is blue, west is green, and east is blue. So I will just do the blue ones and then the green. So we have south and west, which are blue. So this is south, that's blue, that's already blue. And you know, west is also blue, if I remember correctly. Okay, so west is green, pardon. So in order to get green, since we don't have green, we are going to use blue and yellow, since, you know, blue and yellow make green. And the last one is going to be the blue one. A door opens in the distance. As you can see, the door with the rune, with the runes just opened. And there you go. We have the chest. We're just gonna open the chest. These chests are never locked, and we found the part of the shadow emblem, right part of it. This is a quest item. Another dungeon is going to have another part of our shadow emblem. And yeah, since I found this helm, I can use it. I'll just, give it to Alexis. She is in need of it. And that would conclude this level. Let's just open the, the gold door, see what's in there. Okay. Okay, let's open these ones. They are usually locked, and sometimes they can be of higher level. The loot is completely randomized, as you probably figured out by now, and the problem is, I don't really know what's going to be in there. Could be, powerful magic items, or it could be junk, just like we got now. Okay, I just have this helm. I'm just gonna, change it, a little bit around, and I'm gonna, now all four of my guys have helm, which is great. And there should be another chest here. There it is. Okay, and I found the amber ore. When my smith reaches, certain level, my smithing skill, which my warrior has, I will be able to use this ore to imbue an item. So I will be able to imbue either armor, shield, helm, or weapons. These armors are imbuable, let's say. Yeah, we have, as you can imagine, we have different ores for different stats that grant different effects. So, accuracy would probably, armor with accuracy would probably be the most beneficial to the frontliners, while, let's say, and also vitality, while, even Alexis would, the archer, would benefit from the earth damage. And the final one, okay, it's very fortunate we encountered this one. So if we encounter this mechanic, this is a Sphinx, which will ask us a question. So I never was, I'm always to be. No one ever saw me, nor ever will, and yet I am the confidence of all, to live and breathe on this terrestrial ball. We're missing an E here. So let's see, this should be time. So let's try. If I enter the answer correctly, no, it's not. Sorry, it's the future. Yeah, this makes sense. It's the future. Okay, since I answered the riddle, the door opened. This is also optional. This gives us bonus loot. And here we found an axe, a pretty decent axe. It gives intelligence. Unfortunately, none of our toons can, benefit too much from intelligence. So this is like, it will fetch a good price, but, it's just bad RNG. And this concludes our tutorial for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next video.